The opposition.
The Prime Minister continues to ignore the crisis that Canadian households are about to face with the skyrocketing home heating bills. They are expected to double in many communities. Some households will be stuck paying $5,000 to $6,000 a year, and yet he wants to not just maintain but triple and then triple his carbon tax on Canadians. Now, he might play a game of delaying the implementation in a few provinces, but why wouldn't he take decisive action to reverse the damage he's caused to all Canadian and all of their homes by reversing the carbon tax on home heating altogether?
Here we go. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, the price on pollution returns more money to the average families across the country than it costs them. It's a way of fighting climate change and putting more money in the pockets of Canadians. That's what Canadians in Atlantic Canada and elsewhere across the country are going to be able to benefit from. As we step up in the fight against climate change, we will be putting more money back in the pockets of Canadians that need it. Conservatives continue to spread misinformation and disinformation on that. We need to continue to be there for Canadians, and we will.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Our information comes from the man that he appointed as the Parliamentary Budget Officer, and that same official calculated that 60% of Canadians will pay more in carbon tax costs than they get back in any rebates. And that is even higher in provinces where the federally imposed but provincially administered tax does not come with any rebate at all. The Prime Minister wants to go further in increasing the costs of Canadians to drive, to eat, and to heat themselves throughout the very cold winter that's just. Will he show some common sense and stop attacking the people on the ground like his minister and reverse the tax?
Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, Canadians from coast to coast to coast, but particularly in Atlantic Canada, where they saw the devastating impact of Hurricane Fiona, know that we have to continue in stepping up in our fight against climate change. And what we are doing, and we've been doing for years, is ensuring that while we fight climate change, we support families that actually need it. That's why the carbon price actually returns more money to the average families than they pay. And that's something that was confirmed by the Parliamentary Budget Officer. We will continue to be there to support Canadians while we fight climate change instead of peddling disinformation like the Conservatives.
Mr. Speaker, yesterday the Minister of Labour from Newfoundland and Labrador declared that he's sick and tired of people talking about the cold winter. The people he represents are sick and tired of trying to make ends meet as fuel costs skyrocket. Yet this tone-deaf minister brags about the virtues of the failed Liberal carbon tax plan. When will this Liberal government show some compassion and cancel their plan to put carbon tax on Atlantic Canadian home heating?
Honourable Prime Minister.
What Canadians need is a plan that puts more money in their pockets, and that's exactly what the price on pollution does. While Conservatives twist words and misrepresent what people say, we're going to stay focused on what Canadians are actually saying, that they need help. And that's why we're delivering help with a price on pollution that puts more money in their pockets, with support for dental and rental that Conservatives are voting against. We're going to continue to be there to reduce childcare costs. We're going to continue to be there to support Canadians, while Conservatives have nothing to say about fighting climate change, nothing to say about growing the economy and helping Canadians.
Member for Coastal Bay Central Notre Dame.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to remind the member for Papineau that he's a servant, not the master. Here's what the masters have to say, Mr. Speaker. A VOCM poll out today asked, with fuel costs already high, do you feel a federal carbon tax is necessary? The result? 91% said no. So in light of the opinions of Newfoundlanders and Labradorians, will the minister apologize for yesterday's comments, and will he plead with his Liberal colleagues to cancel their plan to push the carbon tax down the throats of Atlantic Canadians?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, a few weeks ago, I stood in the street in Port aux Basques and held in my arms a woman who...
I'm getting a look from the Deputy Whip, but he's not hearing the yelling that's going on right in front of me. I just want to hear the answer, and I'm sure everyone else does as well. So, the Right Honourable Prime Minister, from the top, please.
Mr. Speaker, a number of weeks ago, I stood in the street in Port aux Basques and held in my arms a woman who'd seen her house destroyed by Hurricane Fiona. People in Newfoundland and Labrador, and indeed across Atlantic Canada, know, unlike Conservative politicians, that climate change is real. And we need to do everything we can to fight against it while supporting hardworking families. That's why, unlike what the Conservative politicians say, we're making sure that pollution is not free anywhere across the country, and we're putting more money in the pockets of hardworking families in Newfoundland and Labrador and elsewhere.
The Honourable Member for South Shore, St. Margaret's.
I tell you what's real, this government has missed every climate change target they set. And meanwhile, the Liberal minister from Newfoundland says that it's good news that we have a carbon tax. These shameless Liberals think that it's good news that gas will increase 14 cents a litre. They think it's good news that home heating will increase 17 cents a litre. Any more of this Liberal good news, and food bank usage will go up triple from now. So I ask all those silent Nova Scotia MPs, will they stand up and ask to scrap the failed carbon tax?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, Atlantic Canadians know that we need to fight climate change. So yes, Mr. Speaker, it is good news that we have a strong price on pollution right across the country, and it's even better news that that price on pollution puts more money back in the pockets of hardworking families who need it as we fight climate change. It is impossible to have a plan to grow the economy without having a plan to fight climate change, but all Conservative politicians are offering is a lot of hot air, a lot of criticism, a lot of misinformation, but no solutions to support families or fight climate change.